Val Kilmer, the iconic Hollywood star, has died at age 65 in Los Angeles on Tuesday, April 1, 2025. His daughter, Mercedes Kilmer, confirmed the cause was pneumonia, a final blow after years of health struggles, including a battle with throat cancer diagnosed in 2014 from which he had recovered. Tributes now flood in for the actor whose singular talent left an indelible mark
I
on
think it's
cinema.
interesting with Val Kilmer because he's almost the last of an era of movie star. I mean, he'll definitely be remembered for the huge roles that he played. Iceman in Top Gun, as Jim Morrison of The Doors in The Doors. For me, Tombstone, where he played Doc Holliday, is one of my favorite roles of his. He does come sort of his films, particularly from the '80s and early '90s, were some of these huge, global blockbusters. Those are obviously the films that people will think of when they think of Val Kilmer.
I love the wilderness, and it's still the most fascinating, unknown continent. It's extraordinary.
Val Kilmer's combination of traditional Hollywood glamour boy looks with a complicated, darker, and sometimes confronting performance style. I think that's what made him unique, and I think that's what will be his true legacy. I think, even though it is probably his most famous one, Iceman in Top Gun is truly iconic. It really created a type of villain character who is embodies a certain aspect, I would even say, of American gung hoism, of this sort of driving for perfection that has a very dark side to it. Being able to be brought back, reprising his iconic role in a say very small, very touching, and almost completely completely without text, because he could barely speak. He, I think, says one or two words in total in that scene. I think that was a really wonderful way to pay tribute to Val Kilmer, and also in some ways to say goodbye to him as an actor. This is, of course, well before he died, but it was a way, sort of a tip of the hat, to say that, to acknowledge what he has done as a performer, and sort of what he's given us as film fans. As a lot of these actors who go very, very deep into their roles, he wasn't necessarily a true method actor, though he had aspects of the method performance and be completely absorbed in his role. Famously, as Jim Morrison, he would only be allowed, people could only speak to him as Jim Morrison on set. He was completely absorbed in the role. That, of course, could be quite demanding for other people working on set. He clashed with a lot of his directors, with a lot of his other actors. John Frankenheimer, the director who worked with him on The Isle of Dr. Moreau, famously said afterwards there were two things he was never going to do in his life. One was climb Mount Everest, and the other was to ever work with Val Kilmer again. So he obviously annoyed a lot of people and burned a lot of bridges during his career. But I think you can see from sort of the outpouring of emotion from so many of the people he did work with, so many other actors, so many directors, that he really did leave a mark with a lot of people that he worked with. And while Val Kilmer was, incredibly attractive. He was a matinee idol looking actor. He brought a unsettling complication to his roles, and a darkness, and this these stories of problems on set, these issues outside and inside his performances. I think added sort of a bit of grit, a bit of confusion and problematic confrontation with all the roles that he played, and I think that is something that we're missing these days. I would like to see another Val Kilmer emerge from this generation of younger actors, but I'm not sure there will be. I think in some ways he was one of a kind.
His poignant return in 2022's Top Gun: Maverick, seen here at its London premiere, moved audiences. Roxburgh called the near-wordless cameo, shaped by Kilmer's cancer battle, a beautiful tribute, a nod to his enduring contribution before this final goodbye. Kilmer's intensity sparked clashes, like his infamous rift with director John Frankenheimer on the island of Dr. Moreau. Roxburgh noted how Kilmer's deep dive into roles, like living as Jim Morrison on set, added grit to his craft, even if it burned bridges. Social media erupted on April 2nd with heartfelt farewells. Michael Mann lauded his range and heat, while Josh Brolin called him a brave, creative firecracker. Roxburgh concluded, Kilmer was one of a kind, a star whose complicated brilliance may never be matched.